Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the TV6 Digital Desk live stream. My name is Molly Birch, and I'll be taking you through a recap of today's headlines. This stream runs every night starting at 8/7 Central Time from Sunday to Thursday. You can find us streaming on both Facebook and YouTube, whichever platform you'd prefer. Really glad to be back with you all. As you can maybe hear, I've been feeling a little sick the last few days, so I appreciate all of your patience while we don't have any streams while I'm not here, but I do appreciate you being back with us tonight. Feel free to comment and ask any questions you have in the chat as you feel like it, and I'll do my best to answer your questions as we go and after the stream as well. We're also going to keep this one pretty short and sweet, so you don't have to listen to my awful voice for too long. With all of that business out of the way, let's take a look at our first story for tonight. Let's take a look at this video from Erie, Pennsylvania, where there was a total solar eclipse today. If you look around the edges of the sun here, you might be able to see little red spots. Those are solar flares. This eclipse was expected to draw the largest crowd ever from Texas to Maine, and along the path of totality, it got quite dark outside. If you looked up in the sky this afternoon, you probably noticed it didn't look exactly like it did in the video, but the UP saw a partial eclipse. And it's been 7 years since the last solar eclipse. Northern Michigan University's Seaborg Center celebrated its return with a community viewing. People gathered outside NMU for the rare event. NMU's physics department says you need to use approved glasses to view the eclipse, which were provided at today's viewing.
Just as you don't realize when you're out in the sun and you get a sunburn until much later, you would not realize you're damaging your retina if you get too much radiation in it.
Donovan said while we didn't see a total eclipse, it's still amazing to see. And Sandy Knoll Elementary students also got the chance to see the solar eclipse today. Students gathered outside to watch as the moon partially covered the sun. Teachers say the students learned about the eclipse in the days leading up to the event. One student said she's glad she got to see it.
Basically a one-time opportunity unless you grow old and you see it again. But it's really fun to see it, and it's really exciting, especially because I get to see it with my friends and stuff.
Though there were clouds around much of the day, teachers say they're thankful the sky stayed clear enough for the students to see the eclipse. And in some parts of the UP, you might have seen some rain today if you stepped outside, but you might be surprised to learn it's also raining indoors. At least that's what's happening at Michigan Tech as researchers start experimenting with clouds in a special facility. TV6's Houghton Hancock bureau reporter Colin Jackson tells us more about the facility's newest project.
A Michigan Tech facility celebrating 10 years in operation received substantial funding to continue research. Known as the Pi Chamber, it received a nearly $1.5 million grant from the United Arab Emirates. The chamber creates different clouds to study in different conditions.
One of the things that we're doing right now is creating a cloud in the chamber and then injecting dry air into it to see how it responds and to see how much of that we can do before it completely dissipates.
The goal of this particular project's funding is research into making more rain.
There are places in the world where that's not something that you can take for granted. So if you live in a place like that, you might ask yourself, is there a way that we could make clouds rain? We are doing experiments to try to really nail down what is it that we can do to get a little bit more precipitation out of a cloud.
Other findings the facility discovered are the importance of turbulence on cloud makeup and what it takes to completely freeze a cloud. These experiments are determined by a variety of factors like aerosol levels.
We try to figure out what type of aerosol we want to put in, what concentration and what size, because each one of those things changes how the cloud behaves.
Anderson says the Pi Chamber stands ahead above other cloud chambers because it can maintain clouds over long periods.
Our typical day, we run and hold a cloud for 8 to 10 hours, depending on the experiment. Some days we'll let things go overnight and see how it is in the morning. It really depends on what the setup of what we're trying to look for is.
The rain enhancement project is estimated to run for up to 3 years. Colin Jackson, TV6 News, Houghton.
Thank you, Colin. Finally tonight on the TV6 Digital Desk live stream, the Festival of the Angry Bear is on its way to Marquette this weekend. The Ordock Brewing Company hosts the music and Beer Festival every year as an unofficial end to its Marquette's winter hibernation. There will be a host of live bands, food trucks, and cold beer for attendees to enjoy. Organizers say they've been working hard to bring Angry Bear to Marquette and will continue working until the festival is over.
We start preparing usually in December, the December before Angry Bear, and then we really amp it up the coming months. So this week, it's all hands on deck all week.
The Festival of the Angry Bear will start this Saturday at 3 in the afternoon on Spring Street. You can pick up mugs and drink tokens before the festival all week at the Ordock. And that's all the stories we have for you tonight. Be sure to tune in right back here on Facebook at 8:45 tomorrow morning. TV6's Mandy Koskela and Michael Sobek will recap top stories from the morning on their show, Beyond Your Morning News. If you have a story idea you think we should report on, feel free to contact us at any time. These are a few easy ways to get a hold of both myself and others in the newsroom. And again, you can contact us at any time. We would love to hear from you and what's happening in your community. Thank you all again for joining me live at the TV6 Digital Desk. Have a great rest of your night.